Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Get Fit with Me, expanding your physical and mental fitness group. This group is for individuals who are ready to expand both their physical and mental fitness while helping and supporting others with similar goals all along the way. Every other week, we switch between some sort of a movement workshop and something more around mental fitness and nutrition. The three main things we talk about in this group are physical fitness, mental fitness, and then finding the balance in your nutrition. We cannot be perfect all the time in all these areas, but if we are conscious in all of these areas just a little bit each day, we'll be able to create that lifestyle that we want without having to give up the things that we absolutely love, whether it's activities, whether it's things we consume, whatever it is. I want you guys to have that balance between a happy lifestyle and a healthy lifestyle. So for those of you who are here on Facebook with me, drop hashtag live to let me know you are there, or drop a hashtag replay if you are watching this at a later time. Let me know that you're here and interact as we go. So I got a question that I want to ask, and I want you to kind of think about it here. So our topic today is to be stronger than aging. Aging is something that I feel like is talked about often, but we don't actually lean into what our fears are. We're like, oh, I'm afraid to get old. I don't want the aches and pains. Or I talk about the aches and pains. I talk about all this kind of stuff, but we don't actually lean into what is really behind it. And we're going to get a little bit into that today, but really we're going to do movement. And I'm going to show you 4 exercises that you can do every single day to help strengthen your body, to allow you to be able to do the things that you want to do long term. So in the comments, I want you to let me know who you are, where you're from, and if you struggle with aging, what part of it is kind of that red flag that pops up every time you hear I'm getting old, or oh, I'm aging, or the next big birthday is around the corner. What comes to mind for you as those fears and those struggles? I want you to let me know what those are. So for me, I have worked with people from the age of 19 to the age of, I believe my oldest right now is 85, 86. And I have 3 80-year-olds that I work with. They are all amazing. And they all show me different things that when we get to a certain age, one of those 80-year-olds is still down on her hands and knees, cleaning her floors in her kitchen. I want to be able to do that when I'm 80. I have another one who has had some health conditions, but she had a stroke 10 years ago, and she's still able to live on her own now at 85, still does everything in her house by herself. I want to be able to do that. And then my third 80-year-old client, he is in a different spot. He is very active throughout the day with exercises that we give. And in the last year and a half of us just being virtual together, his balance has improved. He brings up concerns that he has every single time, and we work on them. And it's crazy that just really small implementations into every single day can help make you stronger, even when you are older, even when you're in that 80-year-old category already. So the biggest thing I want you to take away from today is don't wait till you're 80 to get stronger. Start now. And I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to get stronger now, so that you can still live on your own. You can still get up and down off the ground. You can still do the things you want to do when you are 70, 80, 90 years old. So if any of you guys read the post yesterday, this was all inspired by a few things. First thing is I was watching this reel on Facebook this past weekend, and it was this mom who was talking about how at 30, she didn't think 30 was old, but at 30, she's struggling to get up and down off the ground when her kids ask her to play and she's trying to stand up again. And I thought, oh, yes, that is something that we don't do often. And if we don't do it and we don't practice it, it gets harder as we age. So that's what really sparked this. And then it reminded me that when I was going into my sophomore year of college, I had been teaching classes all summer long. I was very active. I was in really good shape. Then I went to school and I stopped doing the things I was doing every day. And I tweaked my back pretty bad. That even at a younger age, we can still have those tweaks that make us feel like we are so much older than we are. But when I was active and I was doing good things for my body, I wasn't having those issues. So think about, what are you doing now? Are you helping your body at all with strengthening our mind? Are you eating right? Are you moving every day? Or are you really sedentary? Think about what you are currently doing, and we will move into what you can start implementing now so that you can be stronger later on. We have Kathy from Lansing, inspired by older people, seeing them work out at the Y, no excuses for me. Yes, that inspiration that we see in others that are older than us. Kathy, I loved it. That's a really good point right there. So I'm going to give you guys some facts here, and I thought I got to read these because I don't want to get these numbers wrong. Where was it? Okay, so I was reading these numbers and it said, okay, as we age, our bones tend to shrink in size and density, so thickness. So they get thinner. It's like as a tree gets older, it gets more howl, and it eventually has to be cut down, weakening them and making them more susceptible to fracture. Muscles generally lose strength, endurance, and flexibility, which is going to cause your coordination, your stability, and your balance to suffer. And this can happen to anyone. We tend to have more osteoporosis in women, but men can have it too. And if we are not working on strengthening our bones and making them stronger each and every day, you're gonna hit these milestones a lot sooner than we want. We're gonna have bones that are shrinking quicker, that density is going to be a lot thinner. We want them to be strong bones from now until we just want them to keep getting stronger, or at least maintain where we are. Resistance training and strength training is the best way to do this. So the more impact that bone has on the body, or the body has on the bone, the stronger that bone is going to be. There's that fine line between, if you are someone who's a little heavier, your bones are going to be a little bit stronger than somebody who weighs a little bit less than you. You have more to carry around, your bones get more impact in just daily activities. So think about, if you are someone who may be older, or you're on that lighter side, or you don't have very much body fat, you need to really work on that strength training, that resistance training, because you're not carrying around as much natural weight as some other people. For today, like I said, we have 4 moves, and we're just going to get into them right away. I want us to get moving, ask questions as we go. And for some of these, there's going to be a few different modifications. And for others, it's just what it is, and we'll just have to work up to it. So first one we're going to have is, I call them up downs. This one I find is one of the most important things you can do. Often we are asked to get down to the ground, or we fall, or we drop something, and we have to bend over or get all the way down to the ground and get back up. How many of us dread that? Yes. So I have a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, no, I am fearful that if I go down, I'm not coming back up. And if I'm alone, I'm going to be there for a while on my own. I don't want you guys to have that fear. Not now, not ever. So there's going to be 4 different modifications here. First one is going to be laying down. So you're going to start from a laying down position. I'm going to demo these. I'm going to have you guys practice, but I'm just going to talk them through real quick. First one you're going to do is be laying down on the ground and have to get yourself up. Second one is you're going to be sitting on your butt, whatever way is comfortable, on the ground. Get yourself up. Next one is you'll be from your knees. And then the final one is going to be knees and lots of help. The goal, the end goal, which may not be now, may not be next month, may not be a year from now, but the end goal in mind is you want to be able to get up and down off the ground without using your hands or other things around you. It may not be where we're at now, and that's okay. But I want you guys to see that if you practice these daily, you can get stronger. I have a client that just this past summer, she implemented this into every single day, and she was finally able to get up on the paddle board with stability all on her own without having to push up. Because if you've ever been on a paddle board, it's unstable, you got the stick, so it's not easy. And she was able to do that this year by implementing just this exercise. So I'm gonna move over here so you guys can kind of see me a little better. So first one, like I said, you're gonna be laying on the ground. So practice these with me. Make sure you have your phone or your laptop in a good position so you can still see me, hear me, and you can participate along. So this is going to be the most challenging one. You're gonna be laying on your back, and you have two options here. If you have a really strong core and you're really good at sit-ups and you're like, I can use the right muscles, I'm gonna have you sit on up so then you're on your butt. If you are not someone that's there yet, but you wanna practice from your back, I suggest rolling to your side and pressing yourself up so that you're on your butt. So from here, I like to go cross-legged. You can go legs out, you can go one leg in. From here, I will go cross-legged, and then I untuck, and I kind of go into a 90-90 stretch. So from here, I push my hips forward, then get me onto kneeling. After this kneeling position, I step up, kind of like I'm in a lunge, bottom toe tucks, press myself up all the way to standing. So I said up downs. That is our way up. We have to go all the way back down now. So I reverse the pattern that I did. So I'm going to step back like I'm in a lunge. I'm going to move so I'm on both my knees. Sit on down, still being careful. If you feel like you have a nice strong core, you can straighten those legs and lower yourself down. If you are someone who wants a little bit extra, remember you move back to your side, lower yourself down on your side and roll to your back. That is going to be the most challenging progression of these up to downs. We're going from flat on your back on the ground to standing and back down 5 times. Okay, the next one. So you're like, I'm not gonna do my back, I'm not there yet. That's okay. This is where you're gonna be. You're gonna be on your butt. Whether it's, like I said, legs out, kind of a 90-90, crisscross, whatever you like. From here, we want to try to not press off our legs. You can always have, I always suggest starting with a wall or a bench or a chair next to you, because we are going to need it at some times. We're going to feel a little off balance, and we want to make sure we have that support there. So if you're starting from your butt, we're going to make our way up to our knees, get ourselves situated, step on up, good. And then we're going to reverse it. So same thing here. Step back, coming on down, back onto our butt. Okay, I know that was a little too much. We need to go from our knees now. Maybe from our butt is just it's a little too much. That's okay. So from your knees, I like to start with a nice wide stance, like I'm kneeling to do something. Same thing. Step up. Bring this leg forward. If you need to bring it out and around, go for it. But we want to try to get to forward and stand. And then step back and then kneel. Making sure that we're not always leading with that right leg. We want that left leg to do some work too. Good. So I mentioned 5. If you're going to do these, whatever modification you choose, you're going to do 5 of them. Up and down is 1. Not up is 1, down is 1. Up, down is 1. That 4th and final modification is going to be any sort of help. So what I always suggest is having some sort of bench or chair or wall, just like I said, and getting yourself down onto your knees. And that is as far as I suggest you go. Get down to your knees, get comfortable with getting up from your knees with having support. Move to knees, no support, and then from there we can slowly work our way down a little bit lower to our butt or to our back. So if I'm here, I like to have something, I like the chair height because I feel like it's easier to grab onto. and something that weighs a little bit. You don't want something really light where it can slip out from underneath you. Trying to put equal pressure if we lean forward and need to. Still tucking that back toe. We want to press up with both those legs. Bring that leg together and stand. Same thing. So if I need the wall, then down. These are not fast movements. They're not something we're going to rush through. Good. Any questions on these? Hardest is going to be starting laying on your back. Next easiest, so hardest starting on your back. A little bit easier starting on your butt. A little bit easier is from your knees. And the easiest is going to be knees while using supports. We also want to not try to use our own body weight and press off. We want to kind of keep those arms up here, but also know that we can grab on at any point. Movement number 1, 5 of each. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Go through those. You will get stronger at those, I promise you, by just incorporating 5 of those a day. Next one we have, you are going to need a band. So you can have a band that looks like this. This is one of those big rubber bands that I have. Or you can have one of the ones with handles. Or you can have, I believe they're called TheraBands, where they rip off from like a big long tube. You would get them at like personal training or physical therapy clinic. Depending on where you've been, you may have some of that laying around. We're going to pull our shoulders back and down. Palms are out. The closer my palms start together, the harder it's going to be. The further out they start, the easier. I don't want that floppiness. I want tension, not tension, just enough so that it's not all floppy. From here, I'm going to pull that band apart and slowly come back to center with my palms up. So why is this exercise important? Well, in this exercise, we are working our shoulders, we're working our traps, and we're working our big back muscles. As we age, we tend to round forward, and we start to get little hump in our back, and we don't want that. We want to keep good posture. We want to keep nice, strong back muscles throughout our entire life. So palms up, shoulders back and down. Right here. We open, squeeze, and release. For these, I suggest 10. 10 of these, not letting your hands fall down here, but also not letting your hands come up by your head. I like to go not 90, just that slight bend across. These are help strengthening our back. Exercise number 1 was for our legs and our balance. Exercise number 2 was for that upper back, to really keep that posture looking and feeling good. Exercise number 3, you're also going to need this band. You're going to need to wrap it around a banister, a door handle. If you have one of those anchors that you can throw in the door and shut the door behind you and hook the band up that way, really anything that's not going to move is the key thing. We're going to do band press outs. So what that means is the band's going to come straight out from you, from your side. Feet are going to be hip width apart, hips are tucked, core is tight. I'm going to take my hands, place them in the center. Let me turn this way so you can see me a little better. And you're going to press straight out and come straight back in. If you were to draw a line, or if I was to draw a line on the screen right now, you would see a nice straight line. I'm working on my stabilizers here. These are super important for keeping us upright and to keeping that core nice and secure so we're not all flopping around all over the place. Keeps us nice and strong in this core area. So as I press out, I don't want my hands to shift. I'm not stirring the pot. Straight out, straight back in. Key here is to flip around. So, because I'm at a funky angle, I'm going to go this way so you guys can see me from the side now. Hips tucked, core nice and tight. I press straight out and back in. I have a nice neutral gaze. Slight bend in my knees. My glutes are engaged, but they're not clenched. My hips are tucked. And the further you pull this band and the further you walk away from the anchor point, the harder it's going to be. Only thing is you can't let it be floppy. It's got to have some tension. That is for our core. 10 of those each side every single day. Easy. As we are getting into this, we have those 3, and now we have our 4th one. Our 4th one is not necessarily, it may not seem super challenging, but it's super important. Earlier, I mentioned that if we do not strengthen our muscles, we will lose our balance. And our balance as we get older gets a little bit more, I'm gonna say sketchy with that. When we have ice out, where we have uneven surfaces. So practicing our balance in a variety of ways is important. Today we're just going to practice single leg balance. There are hundreds of ways to practice balance, but single leg balance is usually, I find, the best one to start with. So first, before you even move into single leg balance, make sure that you can stand with your feet hip width apart, slight bend into those knees, and we can stand completely upright without swaying, without rocking back and forth. Can we stand up and nice and tall, nice and still? If we cannot, this is as far as you're going to do. You're just going to keep practicing this. If you can do this, I want you to move into that single leg balance with me. So do not put yourself in the middle of a room without any help, because as soon as we throw ourselves in a room without any help, that balance starts to go all over the place. I like to start with a wall next to me. Even now, I always start with the wall next to me because it's good to know that there's something there in case I need to catch myself. Slight bend in the leg that I'm standing on. So I'm going to stand on my left leg. My right leg is coming off the ground, not super high, not kicking back. You can do whatever you like with it, as long as it's not touching. My left leg has a slight bend, so I'm not locked out, just that nice loose. And we're going to find either a spot straight ahead or a spot kind of at a glance down. And we're just going to balance here. You're going to feel that ankle rock a little bit. You may feel your glutes and your quads start to fire if you start to wobble. Remember, you can always hang on to something if you need to, or if you feel yourself shifting, tap those fingers, get yourself back to center. Good. 30 seconds each leg is the goal. If you're starting out and you've never done single leg balance, or it's been a very long time, I suggest no shoes. We want what your foot will naturally do. So I don't have shoes on today. I want you to spread those toes to give yourself a nice large surface area. Balancing, straight gaze. Hands can go out to your side. They can do whatever you like. Getting to the point where we will eventually be at 30 seconds here. Once you've mastered the 30 seconds, then we can close those eyes. And you're going to feel a lot more shifting. You're really going to want a wall or a chair next to you, because that right there is going to be our little safety gate. We tend to keep those eyes closed and not open them when we start to feel like we're falling. So having that wall there is a good reminder that we have the support. So feet underneath us, nice light bend, core nice and tight, normal balance. Single leg balance, 30 seconds. Once we've mastered that 30 seconds, we can move to shutting those eyes. I love working on balance. It seems super simple. If we practice every day, you can include a bunch of different progressions as we go. So if you've already mastered the eyes closed and the single leg balance, if you've mastered all of that, let me know in the comments and I will send you even more progressions. I like to start everybody off at base level, because often we don't realize how challenging single leg balance is for 30 seconds. So any questions on our up downs, our band pull aparts, our band press outs, or our single leg balance? Remember, for the up downs, it is 5. For our band pull aparts, it is 10. For our band press outs, it is 10. And for our single leg balance, it's 30 seconds. There are a few other things. I have 2 bonus that I'm going to share with you. One of them is going to be counter push-ups. So hands underneath. We want a little bit of air between here, but we don't want those elbows out here. Going down onto your counter and back up. So it's going to help strengthen that chest, strengthen those arms. It's important to have the strength in our arms as we get older to still be able to pick things up. Then the other thing is something that I do with one of my 8-year-old clients, and it has the benefits of not just physical, but our coordination and our mental. So you guys have all heard of patty cake. We all probably played it recently with a grandkid or a nanny kid or whoever, or some sort of little kid, or maybe it's been years. So I will have them stand. We get a nice strong base and we practice. Hands together, hands across, touching our hands together. We do not sing patty cake though, because we need to challenge ourselves a little bit more. The next challenge is, so once you get this going, you can bring your hands together and you and the partner you were working with feel like you have this down. You then pick a category. So we'll pick cars and we alternate. So she'll say a kind of car, I'll say a kind of car, all while still patty caking. It's going to force our mind and our body to work together because in life we do things at the same time, we multitask. We need to practice that when we are working on our physical and mental fitness. Any questions? How are we feeling? Let me know some feedback. Feeling good, feeling bad. This is way too much. Remember, we're practicing all of these moves. We're practicing those ups, downs. We're practicing those press outs. We're practicing those pull aparts. We're practicing that single leg balance. We did have a question from earlier. So Tanya, this one is for you, and I'm going to make sure to tag you in the replay so that you get it. So her question was, she wanted ideas to move towards activity as a habit. And that's a great question because often we are like, okay, let me implement this, but where the heck do I implement this and how do I implement this? So Tanya, this is a great question, and I have a few different suggestions here. Some you might have heard already from me, but some are probably new. The number one thing that I tell my people to do is put it in your calendar. And if you do not use a calendar of some sort, whether it's paper or digital, get yourself a calendar and start using it. Use it and put it in there. What time of the day and what day are you doing this? Put it in there, and once it's in that calendar, it's a non-negotiable. You're doing it. Second thing is, put it at the start of your day. So often we think, oh, I'm going to do it after work, or I'm going to do it after this, and we're tired. By the end of the day, sometimes we don't want to do it. So if we put it at the start of our day, we are able to get it done and have no excuses. Nothing is able to come up and say, oh, well, this popped up instead. No, you did it first, you will actually do it. And that may mean switching around your morning routine a little bit. And that may be a little uncomfortable and weird, especially if you've had the same routine for 5, 10 plus years. But switching up that morning routine to incorporate this circuit, going through once should not take you more than 7 minutes. And if it's taking you more than 7 minutes, let me know, because it shouldn't. Up, down, and going, using the progressions that you need to so that you can slowly move up to that really strong and stable body that we want from here all the way until we're older. Another thing is setting alarms. I have a client who has found this who has found that setting alarms on their phone can be super helpful when drinking water. She's got alarms set from 7 a.m. to I believe 8 p.m. for them to go off on the hour. Anytime that alarm goes off, she drinks. Set an alarm to go off every single day at a certain time. When that alarm goes off, do these exercises. I have 3 more suggestions for this. Start small. If right now doing all 4 of these movements is a lot, pick one. Pick one and implement it into each and every day. Set a goal every Sunday. How many times are you going to do this week? Set a goal, put it in the calendar, tell somebody that you are going to do it. And that follows into the get accountability or join the Get Fit With Me accountability membership, where we hold each other accountable for these little things. What habit are you staying on? What types of things are you going to implement? And we check in with each other. Get that buddy so that you can have somebody to check in with. We have a question, Kathy, great question. So for the up downs, can we do it on a mat or a pillow? Kneeling hurts knees. Yes. So I have a yoga mat down. You can use a towel, you can use a pillow. The other thing that I like to use is, this is a yoga towel. I just ball it up and I stick it right underneath. Use whatever you need to. I got sore knees too, and we have hard floors here. So if I'm not doing it on the carpet, definitely put something underneath your knees. At the gym, you may see, I believe they're called Airex pads. They're like this thick and they're blue and they're a big square. Those are really nice to have under your knees while doing these as well. Awesome question. Yeah, don't be putting your knees through pain if you don't have to. Any other questions that we have? And if you have any other suggestions on how to implement these into your habits, drop them below. We all learn from each other, because what works for me may not work for you right now, may not work for you down the road, but maybe what Kathy says really is like, yes, that worked, that was amazing. So share what works for each other, because we learn from each other and we get to test things out that way. Well, if we have no more questions, we're going to get out of here for today. I have one challenge for you, and if you are up to it, I'll first tell you what it is, and if you are going to accept it, I want you to drop accept in the comments. I want you to pick, so the challenge is to pick 2 days to implement this circuit between now and next Thursday. And if you accept, I want you to send me a message or drop it in the comments here, what days and what time are you going to implement this circuit between now and next week. So if you want to accept the challenge, drop accept, and I will make sure to be your accountability for the week, your accountability buddy for the week. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Thursday, and I will see you next week for a mental fitness workshop. See you guys then.